A lot of women rise in comedy doing things associated with comedy around sex. Sex is always a taboo topic and it's always relevant. People are always kind of interested in how other people do it or what's interesting to people or the things that people have experienced with their sex. Contrary to what people say out loud, sex is always really, really complicated because everybody has had experiences that they really valued and treasured intimately, and they've also had these experiences that they regret. And somewhere between that and all the weird things that people do or that they need when it comes to sex, there's something comedic about it. And women kind of get away with sexual things sometimes that men can't. Women can actually go farther talking about sex than men can if you're talking about the actual graphic nature of what sex and intimacy can be. Men have to be a little bit more subtle and direct with it than women do. A woman can just be more direct, and all of her girlfriends are like, oh, I know that's funny and you're a woman, I've got your back. But men have to kind of sneak into it. And so what women don't realize is that men are crazy anyway. And the ones that are honest enough to tell you, it can be comedic and he might be totally serious. They already think we're crazy because of the things that we do a lot of times that they don't understand. You're like, I don't know why he does that. I think he's crazy. Well, men are crazy. If men really told women how they feel and what they think, they would probably handle us differently. Because men are more graphic in their heads than women would care to believe. He might be sitting there looking at you crazy one day and she's like, baby, what's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? Like, baby, one of your nipples is inverted. And she's looking at him like, what? Like, did you just... He might not be trying to be funny. He might be telling you that for real. Like, there's an ingrown hair on your vagina right there. You need some help getting that out? That doesn't look right. Like, she thinks that like, he might not be trying to be funny. So you have to be careful because a woman will go on the stage and tell every guy, how little that guy's penis was, or how bad he was in bed, or like just something that's really just crushing. And so the more beautiful the woman is that tells guys these things that kind of make them insecure, it can be costly in terms of a profit differential when it comes to the comedic business. See, women have to understand that most guys are really insecure deep down in there about sex. Everybody's always kind of wondering if they're good enough, if they're big enough, or if they really are loved, or can they really express themselves when they do it and all of this kind of stuff. So guys are always kind of like cautious. And that's why men get caught doing so many creepy things. And women see that as humor. And it is funny sometimes, the things that you see men doing, trying to find a way to like get off. Like, okay, I can't find a real person that's going to let me do this, so I'm just going to go crazy and do it anyway and tell myself whatever I want to believe in my head. Like when you hear about people doing stuff like indecent exposure and masturbation and stuff, most of the time that's not a woman. And so women see that as an opportunity to go on stage and say, hey, yeah, when I was 15, he showed me his penis. Like some crazy stuff. And guys are clamming up like, whoa, was that me? Like, oh, God, like. So when it comes to trying to sell something, guys aren't going to go see something that makes them feel bad. But they still want to laugh about what guys do. So if she's telling you like I know what men do, and I know what you guys need, and I know what you get off on, okay, guys will pay for that. But if she's trying to belittle him and make him feel creepy, one woman was talking about how like she shaved her beaver, her vagina, and it was bald, and that was what guys wanted. And she was saying it was like he wanted to be with a little girl or something. Well, that's not really that funny to guys. She said it looked like I had herpes after, I shaved in a week Like she was saying that she had ingrown hairs or some type of skin reaction from shaving that low or something, right? Well, guys don't really see that kind of thing as funny. She would have been better off taking that joke a different direction, because you don't want to make guys feel insecure because of something that they like or that they fantasize about. That's why they're paying. That's why they come to look at you. One of the people said something about intimacy that was more guy driven, where she was describing what she saw a guy do to her to get off on her. And I know it sounds sadistic a little, but guys can relate to that because this woman understands men and the things that men need. There are a couple of comedians, female comedians, that are incredible, that talk about things across the board, including sex. I think you can overwhelm men with sex as a female comedian because guys are insecure. And if she keeps talking about too much knowledge of intimacy, that makes guys question whether or not she's a good, clean girl that they can really make a connection to. See, even if a woman speaks very vain and awful and comedic, you still want that feeling that, all right, but she's just telling us about some things. She doesn't really do this all the time. This isn't like how she is. She's not going to leave the stage and go do this to somebody or let somebody do that to her. Like, you still need that feeling that she's strengthening that guy in some kind of way. A lot of women screw up in comedy because they don't understand that you can't just put guys down. You can talk about things that are funny, that were creepy or strange or that were bizarre that men do, without making guys afraid of you. Nobody wants to be outed as the creepy guy. You got to even make the creepy guy want to laugh at the creepy thing that he did. And that's what is going on. Comedy, whether people want to accept it or not, whether they want to call it clean comedy for the church or whether they want to call it vulgar comedy for the comedy circuit, all of it is kind of driven by arousal. Arousal is not entirely sexual, but it's a part of sex. So even if you see the clean comedian at the church that doesn't swear and doesn't say anything directly associated with intimacy, there still has to be some kind of attraction of some sort. You can even see a person come on the stage that isn't attractive, but if they speak intelligently enough about intimacy, people can relate to that. They got this one comedian, he's really got a lot of health problems, a weight problem, right? Well, people love that comedian because they're not trying to hide the fact that, like, they're this large person that struggles with their weight like millions of other people might struggle with their weight around the world. People can relate to that. People can't really relate to being beautiful if most people are not standing on that level of super beauty. But a super beautiful person can inspire millions of people to want to be more beautiful with what they have to work with. I think I heard somebody, and I don't know the exact words, so I have to paraphrase, but they said something to the effect that you can make, I think it was on Fox News, they said you can make somebody be beautiful. You can make just about anybody be beautiful, but you can't really make everybody be funny. There's the damn phone again. I actually muted the ringer. And because of technology, the phone decided that it wanted to interrupt my set again anyway. But the point is, it takes something more than only beauty to be a comedian. But it helps when you have something beyond just the comedic art to present to people. Because when you show up, people are looking at you. And when they listen to what you do, they're thinking about what they saw. Nothing would be more terrifying than to have something that totally aroused you, for example, that you only heard on audio, and then you see the real person and it's like, oh man, like that sounded great until I saw what you were. You can sell a lot of stuff. Beauty has always sold and it will always sell. A lot of people want to be given credit for super beauty that have marginal beauty. I don't know how to make that sound right. Some people have incredible super beauty in a non-traditional beauty sense, and some people have incredible super beauty in this world that is indescribable, that distinguishes them on the beauty side of the equation. See, some people look really, really attractive who don't fit the traditional profile of what the look of or image of beauty is supposed to be. It takes a little bit more than the look. As a matter of fact, it takes a lot more than a look. But when you're talking about that hot factor, that's something that people are willing to pay to go and see. It does matter. It really, really does matter. You don't even really have to be that funny if you look really good. But to sell now is going to take something more than what's already there. And I think he's saying that women need to show more dimension. They need to show that everything about being beautiful is not some serious thing or a rape threat or a gender biased thing, that a woman can really be entirely attractive and be silly and open-minded at the same time. It's a lost art. Everybody's overwhelmed with all of these issues that are going on. When you're spending time with beautiful people, you don't really get to have fun with them, is what he's trying to say. Because beautiful people have their minds on all of this stuff that's so serious, or all these expectations that don't really do anything to empower the guy. And who are we going to be able to tell that to? Here's the damn phone again. Maybe this is one of the female comedians calling me to tell me what they have to say about this. So I guess I'll just go and check.